Good morning. Today is Tuesday, January 10th, 2017. This is Fox and Friends.
I have a massive citywide manhunt for an accused cop killer.
An intense manhunt underway for another murder suspect, this time accused in the deaths of 2 police officers.
We're going to bring this dirtbag to justice.
President-elect Donald Trump has just selected his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to serve as his senior advisor in his White House.
Raising a number of questions whether, under federal law, Trump can actually make the appointment.
Full-throttle opposition by the Democrats will be a mistake. I think they should be more targeted in their approach. And I think that target, if I'm going to guess, Brett, it's going to be Senator Jeff Sessions.
I think they'll all pass. I think every nomination will be, they're all at the highest level.
This is going to be a story that's going to bring headlines throughout the work week.
Never seen it this bad before, ever, and I've lived out here for 18 years.
Future radar heading into Tuesday, another slug of moisture moving into the West Coast.
So Hollywood is crawling with outsiders and foreigners.
She clearly was delivering a thoughtful, carefully considered message.
And if we kick them all out, you'll have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts.
The last thing in the world I expect is an uppity 80-year-old lady to be in our demographic and love mixed martial arts.
Iraq War veteran Esteban Santiago is charged with 3 federal offenses now.
Making his first appearance, he was in a red jumpsuit. His arms and legs were shackled.
Watch it. Especially if you're the Clemson Tigers, they can say that. Oh, my goodness.
It was awesome. I stayed up until the very end. I'm going to have to take it out today. It was worth every minute. I thought we were going to lose, and then right at the end, we won 35-31. It was great.
Down 14-0 early, a big comeback late.
Yeah, my husband went. I'm texting him in the middle of the night. This is awesome. He's so excited. Everyone just went out on the field. Dabo Sweeney, great guy, giving credit to God. He's just an incredible guy, has a great family. I know Dabo and his wife very well, and we love them. Really cool. South Carolina. Listen, I went to the rival school. I've never really cheered for Clemson as much as I did last night.
Well, your husband
really,
went there.
yeah,
He
and
played for
I
Clemson.
grew up in that state.
Sure.
I'm really happy, and basically all my high school went to that college, so I'm really excited for them.
The national champions. Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, yeah, that's the sports scene, but that's all these two want to do is talk about sports. I'd say, Steve, there's a big series of confirmation hearings kicking off today. 2 especially going to get a lot of attention: Jeff Sessions and General John Kelly.
There you see Donald Trump, and there you see Jeff Sessions. He's going to be today. Kelly is today, and then tomorrow Rex Tillerson, Mike Pompeo, Elaine Chao for transportation. It's interesting, though, Donald Trump yesterday came out to the cameras at Trump Tower. He was accompanied by Jack Ma, the guy who runs Alibaba, the gigantic Chinese e-commerce firm. And he came out and he said, you know, these confirmation hearings, I think everybody's going to do okay. Listen.
They're going great. Confirmation's going great.
Oh, they haven't started yet.
I think they'll all pass. I think every nomination will be, they're all at the highest level. Jack was even saying, I mean, they are at the absolute highest level. I think they're going to do very well.
There's some concern about Jeff Sessions in particular.
No, I think he's going to do great. High-quality man.
Well, there you
Not
go.
worried at all. You know, the Democrats, many of them are saying they're going to stand up. They're going to speak out against Jeff Sessions for comments that he had made back in the 80s. Not happy with him. One person in particular, Cory Booker, not so pleased and doesn't want him to become the Attorney General.
Not so pleased.
This is stunning.
It's historic. Never in history before has a sitting senator testified against a sitting senator.
Who barely knows him? Why does Cory Booker even know Senator Sessions?
Well, he
got
said
there
because
9
he's
minutes
a civil rights activist. Here's Cory Booker on another channel last night trying to make sense of why he's going to say Jeff Sessions is unfit to be Attorney General.
I'm breaking a pretty long Senate tradition by actually being a sitting senator testifying tomorrow against another sitting senator. So please understand, I think these are extraordinary times and they call for extraordinary measures.
You'll be testifying against your former colleague Jeff Sessions tomorrow in that hearing.
I'll be testifying against my current colleague either tomorrow or Wednesday.
And what provoked you to do that, given the fact that that is a violation of what had been a kind of longstanding tradition?
He has a posture and a positioning that I think represent a real danger to our country. And there's a whole spectrum of things. Jeff Sessions' own words represent a real threat to vulnerable populations in this country. And it's something that I feel necessary to do everything I can to speak out against.
Wow, so that's going to be incredible to see him go up there and do that and switch sides and grab the other microphone at the other table. but it's also important that he's got a long track record, and I've thought a lot of respect within the Senate amongst his colleagues before he got this nomination. Among the people who have said, Jeff Sessions does, among the people that have said he's a great guy is Senator Tim Scott, and so does many others in the Senate.
Condoleezza Rice?
Condoleezza Rice has come forward as well.
Sure. You know, one of the things about Jeff Sessions is they say, you know, he has said that the Voting Rights Act is overtly intrusive. But you know what? So does the majority of the U.S. Supreme Court. Don't be surprised if you hear from a fellow by the name of Gerald Herbert. He's one of the guys from back in the 80s. He was a Department of Justice attorney. I read about him in a FoxNews.com editorial written today by Victoria Tenzing. And she tells the story about how he came out in the 80s and said, you know, I've got personal knowledge that Jeff Sessions did stuff that was not kosher. And so going forward then, through the testimony, it was revealed that this guy was making up the story, had to recant it. He was asked back in the 80s, is Jeff Sessions a racist? He said then, no, he's not. But then in November, after Trump nominated him, he was asked, do you think Jeff Sessions is a racist? And he said, yes, he is. So anyway, here's a guy who's changed the story a number of times in different testimonies, and he's one of their key witnesses.
Before Hillary Clinton, you know, you might wonder, why would a senator stand up and speak out against another senator? Someone, you know, that they're supposed to be friends or at least work together. Do you remember before Hillary Clinton decided she was going to run for office, to run for president? Many people were talking about Cory Booker. Is he going to run for president, and throwing his name out there? I'm wondering now, some people are wondering, is this an opportunity for him to get his name out there and have a national profile?
He's been very quiet. Governor Cuomo, too, is making it clear he wants to run for president. A lot of people are saying this pace is too quick. It's very Trumpian for the confirmation process. Get the paperwork done. I think 3 or 4 nominees don't have all their paperwork in, including Ben Carson. They got to get it done. I'm curious to see how Rex Tillerson does. I want to see what everyone, whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you're for Trump, against Trump, this is a time for America to evaluate who these people are. No one thought that Tom Daschle was going to get rejected, I thought of. And remember, Bill Richardson was supposed to be, I think, Commerce Secretary. He had problems in his background check. He says, listen, I'm going to withdraw my name because there's some conflicts. Let's see what happens.
But all of the Trump people say everybody will have their paperwork in by the time it's time to do the voting. Meanwhile, let's tell you this story. We have told you a number of times out in the great state of Missouri, they had an art contest. And William Lacey Clay then displayed this. He's a congressman from, he's a Democrat from Missouri. He displayed the winning piece of art, and here it is right here. It depicts Ferguson a couple of years ago, and as you can see in the foreground on the left, that's a police officer depicted as a pig.
David Pollitt, yeah, go ahead.
There's been an outcry. You can't put that up in the Congress, and people have said, hey, Clay, take it down. Well, just in the last couple of days, Congressman Duncan Hunter took matters into his own hands. He was walking by, you know, he took it off the wall and then took it to Clay's office.
Republicans are saying, why is this hanging on the wall at the Capitol? This is offensive. It's offensive.
It is offensive to cops.
Yeah, David Pulpus won this after 430 entrances. He says that's the way he feels, not about all cops, but about those cops. Really, he's a high school student. So yesterday, Lacey and others met with cops to, I guess, try to get Duncan Hunter arrested or press charges on him. That's where the painting was held. He took it off the wall, and basically, the police officers don't know what to do about this.
What did the cops do? They called the cops. The cops said,
they met with them. They go,
what do we do?
They used the term befuddled. So Congressman Duncan Hunter, before he's arrested, will be joining us at 8:40 Eastern Time today to talk about this move.
I think he said that he'll rip it off again. If they put it back up, they'll take it down. We'll ask him today.
Well, because they say, and there he is right there, they say that Clay put this up. It's a form of expression, but then again, so is Congressman Hunter taking it down. That's his form of expression.
And then they called the cops when they needed the police officers to step in.
Hunter's top aide says we're less than 0% worried about this whatsoever. Nonetheless, they're going to put it back up on the wall later today with Congressman Clay. We'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, it's 6:10 here in New York City, where it is 22 degrees, by the way.
Yes, it is very cold outside. Good morning to all of you. And we start with a Fox News alert. 2 police officers are dead as the desperate manhunt for a cop killer intensifies this morning. Watch this.
We're going to bring this dirtbag to justice, and he's going to jail.
Well, police now looking all over the Orlando area for Markeith Lloyd. He's wanting for killing his pregnant girlfriend and then gunning down Master Sergeant Deborah Clayton outside a Walmart. A second police officer, Deputy Norman Lewis, was killed in a motorcycle crash trying to find that career criminal. We'll keep you posted as this story develops. And then a terrifying new bombshell report revealing the carnage at Fort Lauderdale's airport, and it could have been a whole lot worse. ABC News reporting that the shooting rampage suspect, Esteban Santiago, originally set his sights on New York City's iconic New Year's Eve celebrations before he switched his ticket to Florida at the last minute. While public defender entering a not guilty plea during Santiago's first court appearance yesterday, he is now facing the death penalty. 5 people have died in that attack. And Senate Democrats kicking off a last-ditch effort to stop the repeal of Obamacare after holding a late-night protest that went past midnight. They're vowing to never give up the fight for the Affordable Care Act.
If Republicans want to destroy health care in America, I will fight them every step of the way.
Democrats accusing Republicans of trying to repeal and then run, but Republicans say that Obamacare will be replaced with a system that costs a whole lot less and works a whole lot better. Clemson fans, including Ainsley and her family,
Well, President Obama is set to pat himself on the back for his great 8 years in his farewell address tonight live from Chicago. But while President Obama does his victory lap, President-elect Donald Trump is already getting ready to undo a lot of Obama's policies once he takes office. Here to break down what could be on the chopping block, Fox News contributor and contributor for the Washington Examiner, Lisa Booth.
Hi, Steve.
Good morning to you. So here at the old chalkboard, let's talk about how Donald Trump could actually take a chainsaw to a number of the executive actions and other things that people aren't familiar or aren't popular, don't really like. One of them that we hear a lot about is the Paris Climate Agreement. Trump could actually do something about that, right?
He has. I mean, look, Trump spent a lot of time talking about manufacturing, talking about job losses, talking about onerous regulations. And that's really what President Obama binded us to. And what Donald Trump could do is potentially withdraw from a 1992 convention, which was sort of the parent to the climate deal. So that is one way that he could try to unravel it and get out of it.
But you know, the green part, the green people, the greenies, people who are pro-environment, they love this.
Oh,
and
they
if
love
Donald
it
Trump
so
blows
much.
it up, they're going to just go on the warpath.
They are, but you know what? I have a sinking suspicion, Steve, that Trump's not as worried about those guys. So it's just me. But,
all right, next card. Oh, immigration executive action.
Exactly.
That has to do with the Dreamers and others?
And others, yeah.
Young people brought in the country?
Yeah, and this was an executive action by President Obama. It was pretty wide sweeping. We're talking about millions of people. And remember, this got a lot of blowback as well. And this is also something President-elect Trump has vowed to take action on immigration within his first 100 days. So this is something that we could see him reverse. And it's also been struck down or at least blocked by the Supreme Court as well.
Now, this is bipartisan. The Iran nuke deal. There are Democrats who don't like this as well as Republicans.
There are, that's for sure. And Donald Trump has been, President-elect Trump has been very critical of the Iran nuke deal as well. But there are some people like Senator Bob Corker who are saying that we should strengthen as opposed to trying to get out of it. One way President-elect Trump could do that is by claiming that, you know, Iran breached the deal, breached the contract, or potentially signing legislation to impose new sanctions against Iran. So there's a couple of outs that he could take. So we'll see what he has to do there with that.
All right, from the nuke deal to the nuclear option was used to actually pass Obamacare. There he is, famously signing it back in the day. There are all sorts of things they can undo with this.
Well, and there hasn't been much that President Obama has done with Congress. Granted, this was done on a partisan basis, but Republicans are talking about repealing Obamacare, also replacing. This is something that we're going to see even on Capitol Hill this week. So be expecting a lot of action on Obamacare here in the coming weeks and months. So it's going to go away.
On his first day, Barack Obama said he was going to close Gitmo. We're coming up on the last day. It's still open. What could Donald Trump do?
Well, well, President Obama obviously has not closed down Guantanamo Bay, if I could talk, but he has offloaded a lot of these dangerous criminals. We know the recidivism rate is 30%, if not higher. So a lot of these guys are going to re-engage on the battlefield. But Donald Trump has vowed to keep it open. And he's also said that he's going to fill it with, quote, bad dudes.
You get rid of all this stuff. what's his legacy?
Well, and that's what's really interesting. So for a president who has staked his ground and made so many decisions in the name of legacy, a lot of what he could get done, because a lot of it wasn't in correlation with Congress, could potentially be reversed. So it's going to be interesting.
Stay tuned. All right, Lisa.
Always a pleasure, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Meanwhile, straight ahead, the Iran nuke deal right there was supposed to prevent them from getting nukes. So why are we letting them get a huge shipment of uranium from our friends in Russia? We're going to talk about that. And we told you about this tough kid going to work after a serious car accident. After the story went viral, he made a heartwarming pledge. His update coming up next.
Quick headlines now. There are no jobs. Yep, thousands of President Obama's loyalists struggling to find work in a city now dominated by the GOP. That according to Politica. The staffers will no longer have 4,000 presidential appointed jobs in just 10 days. And the list of liberal celebrities not accepting election results is growing. Hollywood stars planning to protest the day after the inauguration, including America Ferrera, Amy Schumer, Katy Perry, Scarlett Johansson, and Cher, no last name. They're going to storm through the Capitol all at once, singing and dancing. Hi, Ainsley.
You are so funny, Brian. Thank you. Well, it was the picture of hard work last month. We introduced you to the Chick-fil-A employee in that viral video. It's still ringing. He was still ringing up customers despite being injured in a crash in a selfless effort to earn money to help the homeless. Listen. What are you going to do with the money? I know you said you're going to help other people, but are you going to do like half to the homeless and half to college, or what do you think?
All the money right now is going to the homeless. I'm going to be buying food, clothing, and visiting them throughout multiple times continuously throughout the years to help them and feed them.
Well, now that same worker is here again with an update that will inspire you even more. His name is Jakeem Tyler. Good morning to you, Jakeem. Great to see you again.
Good morning, and thank you.
You're welcome. Well, the last time we talked to you, we got word that this customer was in Chick-fil-A and you had the sling around your arm and your neck was in a brace and you had gone through this horrible accident, but you decided to go to work instead. Why did you decide to do that?
To feed the homeless.
All the money that you make, don't you have bills to pay or other things? You put all the money, you give all the money to the homeless?
Yes, I have bills to pay, like a phone bill. But most of the money that I was getting ready for, well, working for, was to feed the homeless.
That is so nice of you. Well, our viewers are incredible. They wanted to help you out. They love your story. So they went on your GoFundMe page and they donated a lot of money. You have, at last check, $44,577. That is a lot of money for someone your age. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 18.
18. What are you going to do with this money now?
Right now, I'm going to use it for the homeless, use it for the foundation that I'm going to build. But I haven't touched any of the money. The only money that I've touched is me paying my tithes in church. And right now my parents put in another account in my name so I can go start helping the homeless.
So what are your parents like? Did they teach you to tithe your money and to give back to the homeless and to other people that are less fortunate?
Yes, since I was really around a young age, they kept me in church and showed me just principles of tithing, giving back to the less fortunate, helping the less fortunate.
It's really incredible. What are your friends saying, and what is your message to other teenagers?
My friends are just being goofy, like, oh my gosh, Jakeem, you're like famous, like, whoa. But they're proud of me, and the message that I have to send to teens is just to help everyone, because we all deal with certain things and we struggle each day through something. So just to care for one another and to help anyone that's in need.
What are your plans as far as your education is concerned?
I'm looking at some colleges right now. After what college I get accepted into, I want to become a worldwide evangelist and also have my foundation in study biblical studies and then communications.
Well, we wish you all the best. God bless you, Jakeem. Keep us posted, okay?
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Well, we have linked his GoFundMe page to our Fox News account. It's foxandfriends.com. We really appreciate everything he's doing. What a great role model to teenagers. Don't go away. Rudy Giuliani is going to join us live on the couch in just a few minutes. And one of the winningest coaches in the NBA George Karl. Now he is out of the league, and he is breaking his silence about potential cheating and drug use. What's really going on behind the scenes? He is here live. There he is. But first, we wish a happy birthday to Rod Stewart. He is 72 today. But, y'all, he is forever young.
Time for me to fly.
Speaking of flying, it's your shot of the morning. Marlon Bundo goes to Washington.
That's your vice president-elect heading to D.C. with his family and, of course, their beloved pet.
Yep, Mike Pence tweeting out these pictures from the plane, sitting with his wife Karen, daughter Charlotte, their cats Oreo and Pickle, and you can't leave out their rabbit, Marlon Bundo.
How cute.
That's great.
They love their animals. And they're such a nice family.
You were out at their house?
Yeah, they were telling me about their animals, and they said when he first went to Washington, they had a family night, and it was called Pet Night. So they thought you were supposed to bring your pets to the Capitol, and they brought all their pets, and then they get there and they realize they're the only ones with their pets. It was like famous pets. They had like Garfield and other animals there. You weren't supposed to bring your animals.
Marlon Bundo.
They had like hamsters, and they had cats. They had dogs.
It's Noah's Ark.
Yeah, right?
Remind me, Steve, do you remember Louis Aguirre was the anchor here, and my first few months here, he's like, let's have a Christmas party. Come on my house. I'm thinking to myself, I got to make a great impression. They go, bring a one wrap gift. So I put, I thought it was for Toys for Tots. Next thing you know, was that steal a gift? And I'm like, I bought children's toys. All of a sudden, we're walking, and Dawn's like, my wife looks and goes, this isn't for Toys for Tots. No. This is a steal-a gift. So we had to run to the Starbucks and buy a bunch of gifts, and then someone got Starbucks.
How did we go from Mike Pence's dogs to that?
But it's a misinterpretation of the party interview. Okay, thank you.
Just all right. From one extreme to the next, we're going to talk about some extreme weather. Heavy rain pounding the west, leaving California and Nevada underwater. Yeah, pretty scary and sad for a lot of those families. The historic flooding forcing millions in those areas to evacuate.
A mudslide along a highway buried this TV truck, that's a TV truck, and took down power lines. And this daring rescue of 3 people clinging to their cars, surrounded by rushing water as the floodwaters continue to rise.
And there's more rain on the way. Janice Dean says it anyway, and she has our own machine.
It is a big story out west, guys. You have epic rainfall and big-time snow. Let's take a look at some of the rainfall totals. Over a foot of rain in the mountainous regions here. Ultimately, this should be a great news story, and it is. It's going to put a dent into the drought, but too much of a good thing is causing big problems. Mudslides, rock slides, debris flows, as well as avalanche danger. We have this next system that is coming on shore from the Pacific, and that's going to bring upwards of 4 to 8, maybe another foot of rainfall, and feet, I mean like 10 feet of snow across the mountains. We have blizzard warnings now in effect for parts of the Sierra, including Lake Tahoe through Wednesday, and you can see the flash flooding that is already occurring across the west with already a foot of rainfall, perhaps 8 to 10 inches plus on top of that. And then some of that energy is moving across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, where we could see a mix of snow and rain and ice. And later on this week, Friday into Saturday, perhaps an ice storm for the central U.S. So we are going to be tracking a lot of wicked weather in the Fox News Extreme Weather Center. And just a side note, Ainsley, congratulations on your win last night. What a game.
The Clemson Tigers.
Ainsley brought them great luck yesterday.
Well, I hope so. It's just great for the state of South Carolina. We're really proud of Davos.
Good job.
It's awesome.
And it's cold outside, so that warms up a lot of Clemson fans. All right, JD, thank you very much. It's 25 minutes now before the top of the hour on this Tuesday.
That's right. We're going to hand it over to Heather. Were you watching the game, which was actually in Tampa? The weather there was a little nicer than it was in
I did not. I didn't watch the game at all.
It was late.
I was with a girlfriend last night.
There you go.
You were watching The Bachelor.
Watching The Bachelor, no. All right, good morning to all of you. I've got a couple quick headlines to bring you, starting from overseas. Now, here is a scary thought. Iran about to get a major delivery that could kickstart its nuclear program. Russia shipping 130 tons of uranium to Iran in exchange for giving up tons of reactor coolant. One expert telling the Associated Press that that is enough uranium to create 10 atomic bombs. The UN Security Council expected to approve this deal. The shipment doesn't violate the controversial nuclear agreement with the United States.
In wake of the disgusting Fort Lauderdale massacre, 2 Republican lawmakers are now fighting for guns in airports. Right now, Florida is one of 6 states where it is banned. Senator Greg Stube and Representative Jay Rayburn introducing bills allowing permit holders to conceal carry at baggage claim and other places that don't have police protection. A hearing is scheduled later this month. And these pictures simply terrifying. A stranger grabs an 8-year-old boy and tries to walk away with him. You can see the man as he picks up the child at a youth wrestling tournament in Oklahoma City. He put down that child when the kid began to kick and scream. Well, there were reportedly more than 1,000 children at that event. The man in the photo still on the loose. Take a close look and call police if you know anything about him in Oklahoma. Well, heart-stopping video after a bus driver jumps into action to save children from a school bus engulfed in flames. The driver in Tennessee says he heard a pop and then saw a small fire in the wheel well. He pulled over, rushing all 29 children off that bus before the whole thing turned into an inferno.
Number 47, all kids are off the bus. They're advising the fire started in the tire well.
Well, police say that the driver acted so quickly that the kids never even realized they were in danger. Thank goodness for that hero. And those are your headlines. Let's head over to Brian Kilmeade. Good morning, Brian.
All right. Hey, Heather. He's one of the winningest, most respected and controversial figures in the NBA.
Well, today, Senator Jeff Sessions begins his confirmation hearings for his role as the nation's top cop in Donald Trump's cabinet.
This just after the feds quietly released hundreds of new emails in the Hillary Clinton investigation.
So you know what? There's a possibility those could impact today's hearings. For more, we are joined by senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano.
Good morning.
Judge,
good morning.
So explain how these released by the FBI emails could actually impact Jeff Sessions.
We were just talking about this awful game Sunday night. During the Giants-Packers game,
right,
the FBI posts 301 emails from Mrs. Clinton. We have seen these emails before, but they post them saying these were emails that were sent to blank. They didn't say who, but we know who.
Sidney
Fill in the
Blumenthal.
blank. Most likely Sidney Blumenthal. And we can say for certain that he was hacked, meaning that foreign intelligence services, 2 hostile to the United States, 1 friendly to the United States.
Russia, China, Israel.
Correct. Received secret and confidential information because Mrs. Clinton regularly, consistently, systematically, and on a several times a day basis emailed to Sid Blumenthal.
How is that going to affect what happens today?
It is a new case for the prosecution of Mrs. Clinton, and it will place this right on the desk of the new Attorney General. And the most probably new Attorney General, Senator Jeff Sessions, begins his confirmation hearings today, and this is a new set of questions for him. Will you reopen the case? Are you aware of what Donald Trump said during the campaign, that our secrets are in the hands of enemies, and what rogue FBI agents said during the campaign? By rogue, I mean disagreed with their boss in his decision not to seek a prosecution, that they were right all along, and that the FBI admits this in the middle of the Giants-Packers game, 2 days before the Sessions confirmation.
I just got a call from Ryan Priebus. It was called the Packers-Giants game, not the Giants-Packers game. But I just got a quick thing on this.
The UHE said no.
No, I can never do that.
Never let you back on Long Island.
But I can respect greatness, and I saw greatness Sunday. But I will say, and not on the Giants' part, but I will say this. He could easily, and lawyers like you guys are trained to do stuff like this, he could easily say, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I haven't looked at these type of things. This is something that's I'm going to think about.
He has to say, I haven't seen the report. There's so much material that's not yet public. Will you look at it? If he says no, the case is closed, the president doesn't want her prosecuted, that's profound. If he says, I have a duty to look at whatever the FBI brings me, that's profound.
Well, if he doesn't bring it up, I just read overnight, Jason Chaffetz at House Oversight, he's going to continue to look into it.
It is a new case for her prosecution because she argued, and the Democrats argued, that she was just a little sloppy and nobody was harmed by this. We now know that secret information got into the hands of those who wish us well, the Israelis, and those who wish us ill, the Russians and the Chinese.
Who gave it to them? How did they get it? That's going to be the That's going to be their
false email.
Correct.
No, but who took it from? Who hacked Sidney Blumenthal?
The Russians, the Chinese,
Chinese,
Israelis.
and
You're saying
the
3 separate entities, or
yes.
all 3 got the copies?
3 separate entities hacked to Blumenthal on a regular basis, and he didn't know about it, and she continued to send this stuff to him.
Yeah, and Donald Trump had said...
Which is the argument Trump made in October, and he was laughed at. Turns out he was correct.
Right, but after he was elected, he said, I don't know what we're going to do in the future. Stay tuned. All right, Judge, thank you very much.
You're welcome, guys.
And you'll be watching.
We'll be watching all 3 hours or however long it goes today.
That's right. Coming up more on Senator Sessions' confirmation hearing, which starts later today, including the unprecedented steps his Senate colleague Cory Booker, a Democrat, is taking to disrupt his path. America's Mayor Rudy Giuliani weighs in on that. Top of the hour, 10 minutes from now.
And how would you like to eat pizza and burritos and steak for the next 2 weeks and still lose 10 pounds?
Sign me
up. Well, good morning. Today is Tuesday. It's January 10th, 2017. This is Fox and Friends.
I have a massive citywide manhunt for an accused cop killer.
An intense manhunt underway for another murder suspect, this time accused in the deaths of 2 police officers.
We're bringing this dirtbag to justice.
President-elect Donald Trump has just selected his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to serve as his senior advisor in his White House.
Raising a number of questions whether, under federal law, Trump can actually make the appointment.
I think they'll all pass. I think every nomination will be, they're all at the highest level.
For a president who has staked his ground and made so many decisions in the name of legacy, could potentially be reversed.
This is going to be a story that's going to bring headlines throughout the work week.
Never seen it this bad before, ever, and I've lived out here for 18 years.
So Hollywood is crawling with outsiders and foreigners.
She clearly was delivering a thoughtful, carefully considered message.
And if we kick them all out, you'll have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts.
And the last thing in the world I expect is an uppity 80-year-old lady to be in our demographic and love mixed martial arts.
Making his first appearance, he was in a red jumpsuit. His arms and legs were shackled.
Watson appeared at Trump Tower. He said he thinks his people are going to sail through. Today it's going to be Jeff Sessions and John Kelly at Department of Homeland Security. Jeff Sessions, though, this is a guy, and there's Trump down at Mar-a-Lago. Jeff Sessions is somebody who a lot of Democrats are gunning for.
Yeah, big mistake.
Why?
First of all, I know Jeff since 1981 when I was Associate Attorney General. I was his boss. He used to introduce me as his boss when we did rallies for Donald Trump together. So I know his work in detail. He was a very, very good U.S. attorney, probably one of the best in the Reagan.
But what about these allegations that he was a racist?
Come on, this is a guy who prosecuted the Klan, one life sentence, one, I think, death sentence. This is a guy who brought desegregation cases for rural districts. This is ridiculous. And he's been in the Senate all these years, and every one of those senators knows he's not a racist, and they're playing a game. The ones who come up there and do that are really being intellectually dishonest.
Well, a lot of people, they say also at Dad Senator Sessions, he spearheaded the effort to award the Congressional Gold Medal to Rosa Parks in Alabama. But what people are saying, too, overall, is they're saying that Donald Trump's pushing us too quickly, too many, and some of them are going in front of committees where there's dual responsibility, where you got to run to the Judiciary Committee, you're going to miss the hearing for Rex Tillerson.
Well, I mean, first, the reality is that I think on the day of his inauguration, 7 of President Obama's people were confirmed and ready to go, which means they were, if you want to call it rush through. You only have a certain number of days. So this is no different than what happened with Barack Obama, except the shoe is on the other foot. Secondly, there's been plenty of time over the last 2 months to vet each one of these people. I was part of some of the vetting, so I know the detail through which they went in terms of vetting. And finally, this is about as high-level a cabinet as I've seen, I don't know, since Ronald Reagan. I mean, we've got some of the most important business leaders in America, some of the most accomplished political figures in America, and some of the best generals that we've had in our Army. I can't think of a cabinet quite as good as this. Maybe, and my Reagan alumni won't like this, maybe even a little better than Reagan.
So why is Cory Booker, why is he going to testify against Jeff Sessions?
Because he doesn't know any better. He wasn't around for Jeff. He doesn't know Jeff Sessions. I know Jeff Sessions for 30 years. This man is a completely honest prosecutor. And this is going to be wonderful for the Justice Department. I spent 15 years of my life in the Justice Department. I love the Justice Department. I'm disgusted by what happened to it. He will straighten it out on day one.
Because it's become political.
In my view, the best Attorney General in the last 20 years, Michael Mukasey, former federal judge, is going to testify for him. Says he's one of the best choices for Attorney General, and that's good enough for me.
Sure. Here's what else Cory Booker said. The people that Donald Trump has put up as appointments to the cabinet are not like President Obama's. These people who are billionaires and have vast holdings and vast wealth, the American people have a right to know if they're going to be entering the offices with conflicts of interest.
Well, first of all, Jeff Sessions is not a billionaire, so let's get that off the table. So, Cory, you're wrong about that one. Second, what's wrong if these people are successful?
Sure.
I mean, come on. But how about we try successful people? We had 8 years of you-know-what. Let's try some successful people. Who is going to know better how to run a massive, gigantic enterprise like the Defense Department or the State Department or any of these departments but someone who has run large enterprises? People who do that in the private sector get paid a lot of money for it.
And you look at our current president of the United States, he never ran anything.
And you can see it with the rollout of Obamacare. It was a complete fiasco.
What exactly?
A man who had, a woman who had been a CEO, who had run a company, would never have rolled out Obamacare in that incompetent way.
For the folks at home that aren't sure, what does the Attorney General do?
The Attorney General, main thing he does is prosecute federal law.
Sure.
But he's also in charge of the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Bureau of Prisons, and he runs all of the 93 United States attorneys, who are the federal prosecutors, which is what he was. So he actually knows the job that he's supervising, which is fantastic. This is a guy who was like the mechanic in the store, and now he's in charge.
He is indeed. What about Jared Kushner, who is Donald Trump's son-in-law? He's one of the 4 top advisors, along with Ivanka, Don Jr., and Eric Trump. Sounds like he's going to be a high-ranking advisor to the President of the United States. But someone suggesting, there's a nepotism problem. Does that apply here?
It doesn't apply.
He's also got vast business holdings,
which he is divesting himself of. He's doing all the legal things that have to be done to divest yourself of it. How about having somebody there who is as successful as he is? That's not a bad idea. I've worked with Jared very, very closely. He's one of the brightest, one of the smartest, one of the most balanced people that I know, and he'll be a great asset to President Trump, which means he'll be a great asset to the country. I saw him help negotiate the meeting with the president of Mexico, which people thought never could be done. I was part of that with him. He has terrific negotiating skills and has been enormously successful at a young age.
I was not. Bobby Kennedy was working with JFK. I understand.
He was Attorney General.
There was some uproar on Capitol Hill.
Yeah,
do you believe? And then afterwards, there was some adjustments made. Do you believe there should have been some uproar then? And do you believe there is some justified uproar now?
Well, first of all, I think Bobby Kennedy turned out, from everybody's point of view, including mine, a very good Attorney General. He started the effort against the mafia. I remember when I brought the case against the Teamsters to get rid of the mob, I said this all began with Bobby Kennedy. Number 2, I think the president should be entitled to the best possible people he can get. And he is doing everything he can to divest himself of the private business interests, and that law does not apply to the White House for the reason that the president has to get the people he can rely on. We want him to have around him the people that he can rely on.
Right. So what does Kushner? You've seen it. What does Kushner bring to Trump that nobody else does?
Well, first of all,
you've seen the interaction.
First of all, it's a team. Reince, Steve Bannon, Kellyanne, Jared, they're really a team, and they operate as a team. What does Jared bring to that team? Very, very, very good judgment. Very, very willing to review something a second time or a third time.
35 years old.
Yes, excellent judgment. He's a 35-year-old going on 60. In terms of experience, which is maybe why he has so much money that he has to divest himself of.
As the former mayor of New York City, what do you think about Hillary Clinton possibly running for mayor?
You got to be kidding.
Well,
no, not again. Not that story again. Then, I don't know, I guess all the investigations get revived again.
Her biggest obstacle to being a successful mayor?
Her biggest obstacle? I don't know that she's ever, the State Department, she never ran. She traveled all the time. Look at the disaster she was at State. I mean, I can't think of a worse Secretary of State of my lifetime than Hillary Clinton. That's a great way to work for mayor. I was an unsuccessful Secretary of State. Let me try to be mayor.
Put that on a bumper sticker.
Yeah. Mayor, let's talk a little bit about a story. I'm sure you've seen it. There was an art contest for high school students in the great state of Missouri, and William Lacey Clay, a Democrat from Missouri, put up on the wall of the U.S. Capitol that painting. It depicted Ferguson. On the lower left, that